Yeah. So, good morning. My name is Sandhya. The name of my project is Global Terrorism Analysis. It's an exploratory data analysis project, and this one is the capstone project. So, the aim of this project is to explore and analyze the data to discover key findings pertaining to terrorist activities. The Global Terrorism Database, it's an open source database. It includes information on terrorist attacks around the world from 1970 through 2017. So the Global Terrorism Database, it includes systematic data on domestics as well as international terrorist incidents that have occurred during this time period and now includes more than 180,000 attacks. The database is maintained by researchers at the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Response to Terrorism, headquartered at the University of Maryland. Yeah. So the problem statement in this project, I'm going to analyze global terrorism dataset. This dataset contains information of terrorist activities and terrorist attacks and includes the information of attacks per year, countries via number of attacks, weapon used, and targets of terrorists. The objective of this project is to explore and analyze the data to discover key findings pertaining to terrorist activities. The project type is, as I already told you, EDA, that is exploratory data analysis. Before moving to the main content of the project, let me tell you the definition of terrorism. So, terrorism means the threatened or actual use of illegal force and violence by a non state actor to attain a political, economic, religious, or social goal through fear, coercion, or intimidation. So, the goals of my project are to study the source and to do quick research to understand more about the dataset, clean the data, prepare the data for processing and analysis, prepare data pre processing to manipulate the data for analysis, and draft out targeted tables for analysis. And the last one is analyze the data more deeply and extract the insights. Then we have the characteristics of the database. In this, I'm going to tell you about the characteristics of the database. So the database contains information on over 180,000 terrorist attacks, which is currently the most comprehensive unclassified database on terrorist attacks in the world. It efficiently covers attacks between 1970 to 2017, and the attacks in the global terrorism database, they are attributed to more than 2000 named perpetrators organizations. Next, I have provided the import libraries: import pandas as pd, numpy as np, seaborn as sns, then the loading data set. Next, it's the overview of dataset I have provided, and then shape of data frame. After that, the most important thing is data pre-processing. Yeah. So data pre-processing, it's it refers to the cleaning, transforming, and integrating of data in order to make it ready for analysis. So, data pre processing has three steps. The first one is the cleaning, second one is the transforming, and third one is the integrating the data so that the data can be ready for the further analysis. Right? So, these are the data pre processing, cleaning, transforming. So, all the data is provided. Next, we have the most important thing, that is the exploratory data analysis. We can say that exploratory data analysis, it is the backbone of this project. So first, what I have done, counting the terrorist attack per year. With the help of this graph, count the terrorist attack per year. In this graph we can see, in 2014 the most number of terrorist attack happened, followed by 2015 and then 2016. As I have given the conclusion that most number of terrorist attack happened in 2014, followed by 2015 and then 2016. Second is about the top 30 countries via number of attacks. It means that the most affected country is Iraq, followed by the Pakistan and then Afghanistan. And least affected are the South Africa, Nicaragua. So this is the conclusion. The outcome of the plotted graph is that the country which suffered most number of terrorist attack from 1970 to 2017. The first one is the Iraq, followed by the Pakistan and then Afghanistan. Third one, and this one, the reason which affected most number of attack, right? So we can see that Middle East and North Africa, the reason which has like most number of terrorist attack, and then South Asia and then South America, same as I have provided the conclusion, that is the reason with most number of terrorist attack is Middle East and North Africa, followed by South Asia and then South America. Fourth one is most frequent used weapons in the attack. So the weapons in the attacks, yeah, so the weapons used by the terrorist, first one is the explosive, second one is the firearm, and if we talk about the least one, so the chemical weapons are the least one. Next, we will talk about the most frequent targets of the terrorist. Means, what are the prime targets of the terrorist? So, the prime targets of terrorists are the private citizens and property, followed by the military, and then police. And then we will talk about the, yeah, most frequent type of targets of the terrorist is private citizens and property, followed by the military and then police. Next, it's most frequent type of attacks. Frequent type of attacks. One is the first one is the bombing or explosion, armed assault, and then assassination, and at last hostage taking, barricade incident, and hijacking. These are the least one. And bombing or explosion, armed assault, and assassination, these are the most frequent type of attack done by the terrorist. Then I have provided the value counts group name. GNAME means group name. So unknown is 82,782, Taliban 7478, ISIL 5613, and then Shining Path. So these are the data provided. Next, most number of attack done by the terrorist organization. As we can see in this graph, that most number of terrorist attack done by Taliban, followed by ISIL, Islamic State of Iraq and Levant, and then SL, Shining Path. Yeah. So value count of object type category which if greater than 50. So Middle East and North Africa 50474, South Africa 44974. So these are the attacks happen in these areas. Bombing, explosions, there's armed assault and assassinations, and then private citizens and property, military, police, government officials and business. The pie chart it is showing the successful terrorist attack. This one it's showing the number of multiple attacks. In the last pie chart, it is number of suicide attack. Then we will talk about countries' performance against terrorist attack. So I have divided this part in two categories. First one is top 10 countries, those who are able to tackle the terrorist attack successfully, and second one is top 10 countries which are not able to tackle the terrorist attack successfully. So the top 10 countries which are successfully able to tackle more than 5 terrorist attacks. The first one is Brunei, followed by the Ireland and then New Zealand. Second one, top 10 countries which are not able to tackle the terrorist attack successfully. The first one is the Benin. It's in South Africa, followed by Bhutan, and then Djibouti. It's in the East Africa. Then the below graph showing the trends in the terrorist attack. Yeah, trends in the terrorist attack over the years. So chemical weapons, fake weapons, yeah, chemical weapons, fake weapons, sabotage equipment, right? Biological weapons. And in this one, the most frequent type of targets of the terrorist, these are airport, aircraft, business, educational institutions, private citizens and property. And this graph is showing the total attacks, the successful terrorist attack. And this is showing not able to attack successfully in the area over the years. Okay, now the summary. So the global terrorism analysis project is done by me only. So I decided to take up this project solely due to my interest in this topic, as I was the student of international relations. I have already done so many projects during my masters, and most of them were related to terrorism. So I have taken analysis ideas from my master's thesis, and it helped me a lot when it comes to database. So it was quite difficult for me to understand the same, because it was for the very first time I have seen the data set, and a large data set, and I have never worked on such kind of data. So it was quite difficult for me to understand the data. But since I was taking the classes from the Elma Better, so it helped me a lot to understand the data and the basics. Uh, Previously, I had no idea what to do with the database the data set and from where to start. So, for the first 2 days, I have revised my thesis and understood the methodology that I have applied for the exploratory data analysis. And after doing some random EDAs, that is exploratory data analysis, I managed to do the project within a week. And at last, I want to provide it the glimpses of the prime findings or summary. So, so most of all events and staggering of total terrorist attacks have been exclusively from the Middle East and North African region. Second is Iraq has been the country with highest number of attacks, and most of all terrorist attacks have been from Iraq. The huge rise in terrorist attack in the Iraq began during 2014 to 2015, and it has been seen that explosives have always been the weapon of choice for terrorist organizations, private citizens, and military have always been the biggest targets of the terrorist organizations. It can be concluded that attacks by Taliban and ISIL, Islamic State of Iraq and Levant, they are on a high rise. Among attack types, bombing or explosions and armed assaults were highest in count. And Brunei is the country which has successfully tackled more than 5 terrorist attacks. And Benin is the country which was not able to tackle the terrorist attack. So this was the project. This was the capstone project on the global terrorism analysis. Thank you so much.